Nnamdi Kanu had previously rejected or called for the recusal of Justice Nwako'S, but the federal government have decided not to grant his wishes. And now that we are in 2025, Nnamdi Kanu is doing the same thing all over again, saying that the trial is not going to resume if, Justice Nyako is not recused because he has no confidence on the judge. Before we delve right into the details of today's news, if this is your first time here, you have not subscribed to this channel, please do well to subscribe, like this video, also leave your opinions in the comment section below as well. The detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has opposed the request by the federal government for the resumption of his trial, insisting that trial judge Justice Binta Nyako must recuse herself from the matter. Kanu's lead counsel, Aloy Ejimako, reviewed his client's position in a post on X on Tuesday, rejecting the federal government's bid to reopen the trial. Kanu, who is being prosecuted on 7 counts of alleged treasonable felony and terrorism, was rearrested in Kenya in 2021 and extraordinarily rendered to Nigeria. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges. At the last court session on September 24, 2024, Kanu requested that Justice Nyako recuse herself, citing a loss of confidence in her handling of the case. Justice Nyako agreed to recuse herself and forwarded the case file to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court for reassignment. However, the Chief Judge returned the case to Justice Nyako, stating that 2 other judges had previously recused themselves, and Justice Nyako, having handled the matter since 2015, was best positioned to conclude it. The Chief Judge instructed that if Kanu still wanted Justice Nyako to step aside, he must file a formal motion with an affidavit detailing his reasons, serve it on the prosecution, and await Justice Nyako's determination. Despite this directive, the federal government's counsel, Adegboyega Awomalo San, requested a new trial date in a December 5, 2024 letter addressed to the Deputy Chief Registrar of the Federal High Court. Awomalo argued that Chief Judge's decision reinstated Justice Nyako as a trial judge. However, Kanu's lawyer, Ejimako, in a counter letter rejecting the request, argued that Justice Nyako's decision to recuse herself was still valid and binding. Our position is based on the fact that Justice Nyako entered and enrolled an order recusing herself on September 24, 2024, and to date, that order remains extant and subsisting. It has not been set aside by any competent court, Ejimako stated. He further accused the prosecution of attempting to mislead the court, insisting that Kanu no longer has a case before Justice Nyako. For the avoidance of doubt, as of September 24, 2024, the defendant no longer has any case to answer before Justice Binta Nyako, Ejimako said. Demanding Justice Nyako's withdrawal from his case at the previous proceedings, Kanu shouted down his lawyer and spoke for himself, maintained that he did not trust the judge to be impartial. Addressing the judge directly, Kanu said, "My lord, I have no confidence in this court anymore, and I ask you to recuse yourself because you did not abide by the decision of the Supreme Court. I can understand it if the DSS refused to obey a court order, but for this court to refuse to obey an order of the Supreme Court is regrettable. I am asking you to recuse yourself from this case." However, the prosecution counsel, Awomalo, urged Justice Nyako to regard Kanu's claim of disobeying a Supreme Court order and proceed with the hearing. My lord, you should not recuse yourself on the basis of this mere observation, which does not have anything to do with the Supreme Court. It is an incompetent observation. We urge this court to proceed with the hearing, Awomalo said. But Kanu vehemently objected, waving a copy of a document in his hands, which he said was a copy of a subsisting judgment of a Supreme Court. He proceeded to read a part that said the actions of a trial judge render the impartiality of a judge suspect. He also tried to explain to the judge that his objection to her presiding over his matter was not personal, but that he was now fed up with the trial, which according to him was at variance with constitutional provisions. Declaring a stance on the matter, Justice Nyako declared, I hereby recuse myself and remit the case file back to the Chief Judge. Kanu was first arrested on October 14, 2015, following his return to Nigeria from the UK, and was later granted bail in 2017 on health grounds after being detained at the Kuje Correctional Facility. Kanu later fled the country following a raid by the military on his home and moved back to the United Kingdom, but was later rearrested in Kenya in 2011 and brought back to Nigeria. He was rearrested and repatriated to the country. He has been detained in the custody of the Department of State Services. His repeated applications for fresh bail have been turned down by Justice Nyako. You all, let's have your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Before we go, let's take a look at some of the reactions we got online. The first comment is coming from Efosa, says, someone should tell this Boko Haram brother to shut up his stinking mouth. Olaniran says, detention is sweet this one. He is enjoying himself in jail, safe and secured. Ibro Modest says, how will someone who jumped bail and ran to another country to hide, refuse to appear for his charges, be granted bail again? What are we saying? Let him remain in the custody till end of his trial. No confidence. If he is granted bail again, he will run out of the country. Somebody responded to that comment by saying, you are the worst fool I ever come across in this comment. Needless to reply you. Chika says, Yisa, I don't know you can be so naive and naughty like this. John Chukeluba says, Kanu is a lion in the lion's den. His brain is more than some people. Now, let's take one last comment from Arise Shine. Says, APC bandits, crooks, group of parasites, power mongers. Power is always an instrument for collating, sharing, and consuming rent. Power is never about creating, growing, or sustaining wealth, transforming society from impoverished to prosperous. Okay. You all, thank you very much for always listening and watching. This is where I'm going to draw the curtain for now. I will see you all in my next video. Bye for now.